This is an introduction to the Passionizing Planner, practicing the art of following your heart. And I wanted to show you how you can use this planner, just to give you a very brief overview, and this way you'll know whether or not you're interested in it. This is the entire cover, front and back. So the front of the cover is on the right. You have a panel here that you can write in. You can put your name, you can put the dates that the planner is for, you could put a reminder to yourself, and so on. The spine, you can put the date so that you can find this year's planner in your bookshelf when you're done. And on the back, what I did is I put a message regarding my theme for the year. And my theme for the year is create. So you're going to see more things coming from me than just this planner. So that's the cover. Let's get rid of the cover so that we can see the interior of the book. When you open the book, you've got a place to put your name and contact information, like a cell phone number that somebody can use if the book gets lost, to return it to you. And then you've got your introduction to it. You've got the introduction to the concept. Excuse me, it's really early in the morning. And here you can write a letter to yourself, write future you a letter to stay motivated. So I wrote myself a letter about receiving my book and how exciting it was and how I felt, and that's my passion in life, is to either create my own books or help other people create books. So I wrote about that. So next, you start your annual planning. First, you should have a wish list. You want things that you can look forward to, whether it's things on your iTunes or Amazon wish list. I have things like getting a shiatsu massage or doing a yarn project. I love crochet, so I put that on there. So you want to put some things on there that you can use as motivation for other things throughout the year. And it doesn't have to be things that cost you money. Put things on your wish list that are easy to fulfill, as well as some that are a little more difficult or require a little more money. Your bucket list is a list of the things you want to do before you die. And I have things like buy a house, tour Europe, and I just saw an episode of Shark Tank where they have extreme sandbox. You get to go play with construction equipment and dig up sand and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, I'm so there. I want to do that. The next page is a list of example values and then an introduction to figuring out your values. Pick 3 of your favorite people in the world. For example, one of mine is Robin Williams. And I listed 4 things about Robin that I admire or appreciate. That he's really out with his weirdness, his kindness, he's fearless, he's funny. So those were my 4 things. And then what values he represents for me. And I know he's gone, but there's a part of him that lives on, and that's the part of him that I'm honoring. I put authenticity, compassion, bravery, and humor. You put these in the order that they are at the moment. So right now, for me, it's money and business and so on. Then over here, you list them, money, business, and then you can refer back to the last page. To the example value list 2 pages ago. And you can pick the values and make a value statement about each of those areas. For me, when I said money, I put next to money, devotion to my family. Under business, it's service to my clients. So service is the value, but I also put a little bit of an explanation because it's easier to feel it in your heart if you put like a little something extra there. This is your satisfaction survey. Each of these areas, you're going to rate on a 1 to 10 how satisfied you are in that area. And one of the reasons that money is high on my list right now is because I'm not satisfied. I'll show you how this one works. You're going to do this once a month, a quick satisfaction survey. If you want to. Of course, you don't have to do it. Probably going to want to use a colored pencil, so I'll just use the pencil tool. So right now, let's say I'm at a 4 in my salary. So under these lines, that's where your color divisions could probably be. That's what my suggestion is. Under 3, let's say, oh, my investments are a 1. I'm really unhappy with the minuscule amount of investments I have. And my overall money situation, I'll say I'm at a 3. Say I have a great retirement plan. And I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go up here. So you would do this in your planner. You can take out your colored pencils. You can have fun with it. Or you can just do it in pencil. You could just take pencil color. Say my career's 5, and you don't have to fill in the whole thing. You could do that. So you can do it with graphite, with pencil. You could do it with pen. You could do it with colored ink. I don't suggest using markers or highlighters. They'll go through the page. The paper that Amazon and CreateSpace print, it doesn't work very well. Kind of shows through on the back of the page. So I would suggest pen or pencil. So once you've filled this in, and it gives a description of all the different areas so you know what you're talking about, then you go on to learning about the weekly planner and how to use it. You can skip all of these instructions if you understand what I'm doing in this video. The instructions are there just to help you out. Here's the next activity, is designing some decompression. You want to get more specific than what's here. Instead of like a health drink, you're going to want to specify or maybe choose a few recipes that you have the ingredients for on hand, like songs on an energizing playlist. Well, you don't want to wait until you need to decompress to make this playlist. Have a playlist ready. In terms of decompression, when you get too stressed out and you really need to relax, it's not a good time to have to think. That's probably the last thing you want to do at that moment. So you want to have plans for things that are very specific, that are easy to do. If splashing cold water on your face works for you, then you might want to say, well, if I'm at work, I want to go to that bathroom. And this way you have a mental image of where you want to go and what you want to do when you're feeling stressed out. I have a couple of pages for notes. The first print of this journal didn't have that, and I'm finding I'm missing it. I'm writing in all the margins. I'm writing everywhere that there's a little bit of a blank space. So I added in pages for notes. So now we go into the first month. We already did the satisfaction survey. From the satisfaction survey, you were able to pick out some areas that are problematic for you right now. So you would write down the area. So I wrote money, and I decided I wanted some extra room for money. So I put the second one, I picked 2. You can pick up to 4. I have money, I have business, and then I listed some things I can do in here, and I reminded myself of the values that I associate right now with those areas, taking care of my family or whatever. And then there's at least one project a month that you probably want to advance that maybe it doesn't have to do with work. It's not usually right in front of you. For me, there's one of my books that's been sitting for 2 to 3 years. I wanted to pick it up and start working on it again. So the name of the project was the name of the book. And the first thing I put was to actually open it up and assess where I'm at and determine what the next 2 steps were, which I've done. So then I added the other 2 steps afterwards. So within this 1 month, I've already listed that. Now we get into a little bit more fun. We have a game every month of relaxation bingo. And so this month's reward is a nice skein of yarn. So I want to get myself some nice yarn and do a wool project. So my reward is getting the yarn. So I put that there. And then I pick a row or, breathe. That seems pretty easy right now, driving around or whatever. And I said, okay, let's do some deep breathing while I'm driving. And I did. So I did a few deep breaths and so on. So I crossed that one off. So then I started looking at, well, what else can I do? Well, I'm writing. I've been checking into Super Better, which I love. So you'll see Be a Superhero on here. And you don't have to check into Super Better to do it. Picture yourself as a superhero. You're out living out your passion, conquering things, helping people. Your office is kind of your secret hideaway and so on. And think of your buddies and pals as your allies. It's kind of cool. So I put that in here. as a constant reminder to me to check in and to imagine myself as a superhero. You'll see in the back of the book, there's an explanation of what all of these mean. Rock, kind of weird, right? All right, what does that mean? So you go in the back of the book, you can look it up. Then we get to your actual week. I suggest you write the date that the week starts and the date that the week ends. For this month, I put the date next to the days of the week. And then you have a little box. This week I'm doing something called Book in a Week, and I've pledged to do 70 pages. So Monday I did 4, so I filled in 4 boxes. If I needed to track something else, I have the other side. Or if I need to track 30, there's 30 boxes across the page. So it's 15 on one side, 15 on the other. So this actually works for tracking Weight Watchers points. It can work for maybe number of times you get up from the computer and go stretch and whatever, and you can mark it down. Whatever it is that you need to track. One of the other things I want to track is I have a money goal, which I'm working on money this month. So I have a money goal and I know how much money I need to earn every day, and I can mark the boxes just to have a visual clue of how well I did each day in hitting my daily money goal. So every day you can jot down either what you did or what you're going to do. That's up to you. I don't like schedule books that lock me into, say, 9 to 5 or 8 to 6. I find that sometimes I jot down what's going to happen, but most of the time what I'm writing down is what I've done, so that I can actually look back and go, oh, I did a lot today, and remind myself rather than going, where did the time go and what did I do? So every now and then during the day, I jot down, a few of the things that I've accomplished or what I've done. Oh, up here. This is a reminder. Area, I'm working on money, or I can put money and business. And then the value, and I'm, putting down that, how did I word it? Oh, devotion. Devotion to my family, which is a very passionizing word, devotion. When you really feel it and you really think about it, devotion's a heart emotion. So I liked that one. So devotion to my family. So you go through your week, you're marking down your progress and whatever it is that your goal is that you're tracking. If anything, I made everything kind of light so it's not in your way. And you're writing down whatever you want to write in here as the week goes by. As part of reflection on the week, you can track how active you've been, whether it's how active you are in sales calls, whether it's how active you are in the physical realm, whatever it is your goal is. Like, how actively was I, say, because my theme this week is money, how actively was I pursuing clients or, I don't know, marketing my products or whatever, and I can judge my overall level of activity. If I'm sick this week, my activity level is definitely going to be low. Maybe I slept a lot, or I was just too clogged in the head to get anything done. So I would see that. Then my results. So I could look at how much my income was, or whatever it is my results were, how much weight I lost, whatever, how fit I feel or how healthy I feel. And I can track the results here. And my expectation is if I have a high level of activity this week, I may not see the results this week. But I have a feeling I may see it in a week or two. I'm coloring in the symbols for what I'm working on this week. So you know how you have a flip book. As you flip through the book, you'll see an animation going on. Well, kind of like that. I want to be able to flip through the book and see my results going up and down and see the different colors and different areas of focus for the week. So I can flip through the edge of the book and just see it bouncing around and stuff. To-do lists, and I wrote about this in my book, Surrender to Passion. They're obligation words. They make things feel like you have to do it. It becomes this heavy burden. You feel like Atlas carrying the world on your shoulders. And I don't like that feeling. Part of the whole idea of passionizing is reducing stress. I gave some tips underneath that. Desire, would love to, would like to, looking forward to. If you can frame something in your mind that way, I want this. So this reminder is to frame things that you're going to do in the most positive light you can. And then, of course, there are some things that, sometimes you can't. For whatever reason, even if it's just a mental block this week, that there's just things you just have to get done. Paying the bills or going shopping or whatever. And if you can't find a way to put it in a want term, if you haven't read Surrender to Passion and you don't really understand that you could frame it in a way where it's like, oh yes, I definitely want to, mop the floor because I have to defend my family from these horrible, deadly germs. If you can't do that, then you can put some in here, in the unload obligations. Get them out of your head onto the piece of paper. And these are things that you just either have to do, delegate, or delete. Special message, self-care, and decompression. Some of us pray, or we seek higher guidance, we get a psychic advisor, whatever it is, and we have a special message, something we're supposed to be doing that we want to do, or we've gone on a shamanic journey, or we've tapped into our own intuition, whatever it is, there's a good place for a reminder. Self-care, decompression. We worked on the decompression list, so you can jot down a couple of ideas that you can keep in mind this week for things to do, get up out of your obligation mindset and get some energy back. And then as you go through the week, you're going to want to keep track of some things that are successful, things you're grateful for, and blessings in your life, and things you want to bless as well. That's a whole week. From here, you do this 5 times. We're going to scroll down quickly. And then you come to the ending of the month. You can look back in your successes and so on, and pick out a few things that are really standouts. And then there may be things you learned, things that you're still concerned about, ideas, takeaways, and so on, that you want to bring to the next month. So this way you have one place that you can go and say, oh yeah, January 2016, all these things went really well for me. Then we're back to the beginning of a month. So you would write, in my case, February 2016, or February here. And then you rank each of the areas. So the areas are here: business, money, setting, health, renewal, dreams, personal development, and social life. So you'd rank these areas in their current order of importance. Feel free to scribble in the margins and whatever and rank them. And then put them down and list your current value theme for them. And pick out the ones from your satisfaction survey. So you do another satisfaction survey. Put a star next to the ones that you want to work on this month. Sometimes the ones you rank most important are not your areas of the least satisfaction. So you might still say, well, this one's important to me, even though I'm satisfied with it. I really want to keep working on it. So you pick 1 to 4 of these areas to work on. And you could even get specific if you want. You could pick out a specific column if you really want to. So you pick an area, you list it, you pick out a value to work on in that area, or that helps motivate you in that area. And now you have some notes. So in case there's any notes you want to take from that, projects and so on. And now you can come into planning your month. So you go back to your values and the areas, and you list them, and you do a couple of next steps for doing things to improve those areas. Pick out your project. You check out your reward for your relaxation bingo. Maybe take a look at this month's game board. So now you're back into the weekly planning. You have 2 choices. You can stop at the end of the month. So you start on a Tuesday. The month starts on Tuesday. You start Tuesday. And then go through until the month ends. You have 5 weeks in the calendar to do that. Or you can do your assessment instead of monthly. You could do your assessment every 5 weeks. So you could use all 60 weeks in the calendar, or you could just use the normal 52 weeks of a year. And you do the same monthly assessments and everything all the way up until you got some notes at the end. And then you have the ideas for relaxation bingo. And then it asks you to come up with some of your own ideas. So if there's some you're never going to do, you're like, oh, that's not happening, you could replace it so that when it shows up on the game board, you make up your own thing. If rock means something different to you than it does to me, you can redefine what rock is. If you don't want to do the be a superhero, you could do something like be a cheerleader and go to a game. And then I gave you a little extra room for notes. That's the entire journal. So if it's too geeky for you, please give me feedback. Let me know what parts you're using, what parts you're not using, what parts you like, which ones you don't like. Is it too tedious? Do you not like doing all the areas? Oh, let me give you a hint on that. You can say, oh, renewal. Okay, that includes rest, relaxation, reflection. Well, I'm kind of lousy at renewal. And you can just do this. You don't want to do the individual ratings? Don't. Here's the whole area. Most of these wheel life assessments only have the 8 areas, and some of them are a little different. Some of them, will have different names for the areas and different things that they're looking at. You'll find people do wheels but I have not seen anybody do a wheel broken down to, more than the 8. If it's too tedious for you, maybe you do the 36 once a year, maybe you do it once every 6 months, and the rest of the time you just do the big areas. Dreams, I'm here. You can fill the whole area in and get out your colored pencil and have fun with it. So you can fill in the whole area if you want. You don't have to nitpick on it. I really like drilling down into each individual thing. I find it ends up being something like this sometimes, where there are parts within the area that are kind of shady, and then there's others that I'm really satisfied with. So I like the fine-tuned detail. Because something like this, I might have said, oh yeah, money. Well, I'm doing all right in money, and I might have put it at a 5. But then I wouldn't have realized that I'm not happy with my investments, and I wouldn't go and sit down with my financial advisor and make an appointment, where if I see this, I may go, oh geez, I gotta go and talk to somebody. That's why I like doing it with this granularity. And if you're ever confused about what the symbols are for the big area. So you have dreams and ideas here, you have your personal development. So when you see those symbols in the corner of the page, that's what they're matched up to. If you find this planner concept is interesting and you would like to use it for yourself or for your clients, please look in the notes for the video and you'll find a link there. Or you can go to passionizing.com. You can go under the book link. And if you're a coach, there's a special offer for coaches. You can click on the coach link. Thank you very much for watching my video. Don't forget to like and share.